Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Uh, I'm tuning in live from King's College, London, and this is episode number 54 of the Unboxing AI webinar series. Yeah, I hope everyone can hear me. Uh, Today we've got with us very, very, very dear friend, somebody I look up to in the industry a lot, somebody who shapes a lot of our industry, Jake Fishman. Jake, thank you
Cheers,
for
man.
being here today. Uh, Before I go into like your introduction and all, I have to do shameless self promotion. So this is the unboxing AI webinar series. If you don't know what that is, well, every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, you will find me talking to one of Carpel's friends, collaborators, partners, customers, whoever, and essentially sharing some thoughts, trying to extract some wisdom from our special guest. And if you don't know what Couple is, well, we are your friendly neighborhood AI platform that has now entered the UK market. But yeah, we basically help you navigate the complexity of getting AI into your clinical workflows. We you build, test, deploy, and monitor all sorts of radiology AI, and at the same time, serving as a single user interface, single data channel, and single procurement channel. So with that, yes, thank you, Jake, for coming. Means the world. Uh, Today is going to be one of those extempore sessions. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It's great to be on, Vidar. Good to see you. I could say all the same things about you in terms of person, the company we look up to, and somebody who's really changing things in radiology. So kudos on all you're
That's good.
doing. Uh,
I normally
54.
say, Jake, that when nice people say nothings, I generally discount it away. So
I have to say, 54 straight webinars is perhaps like the greatest streak. For the Americans on the call, this is like a Cal Ripken level streak of consistency. I think a
So we've
traditional
had we've
marketer
had
here.
our we've had a couple of misses in the middle, but yeah, I think the marketing team kind of keeps me on my toes. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
no
what is
doubt.
there to hide? I am literally sitting at a Costa Coffee in King's College. Oh, that's how it. But no, it's I think it's the people who join that make it all worth it. So yeah, so towards that end, guys, feel free to ask your questions. Whoever is joined, this and just to introduce Jake, like I'm sure everybody knows him, but still ceremonious of sorts. So Jake is the founder and CEO of Insight Links. He publishes the Imaging Wire, the Cardiac Wire, and the Digital Health Wire. I don't know how you keep up with so much information, Jake. Like it's incredible. He previously served as the editor of the Imaging Wire and the Cardiac Wire, and you know this gave him a lot of insights into both the worlds of radiology, cardiology, and he currently focuses on the overall business. He graduated from Northeastern with a degree in journalism and marketing, and has been named among San Diego's. I thought it would be 30 under 30, Jay. Why is it 40 under 40?
Just I have a baby face, but they just keep on. They need more awards, so they just keep on creating a new class for each age level.
Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. So, Jake, tell us what part, like how much of imaging wire specifically uh, is AI today? Like, if you were to say, like, you know, in terms of
Oh,
happenings in the world, like how much of it is AI?
yeah. Well, if we wanted to, we could make 100% of the stories in the image noir AI. There's that much AI innovation and research and news happening in the radiology space. It's amazing. We kind of owe it to our readers and to ourselves to mix it up and actually have like non-AI stories in there. But I think it's important to note that like if you're doing a story on like a new CT technology or a new acquisition technique or all these things that aren't AI or ways to get patients into better screening programs, AI still plays a role. because, if you're trying to get patients into a mammography screening program and all of a sudden it adds to more volumes of patients, like the solution to that volume and this perhaps the solution to the accuracy of those scans is AI. So I think that like almost every story in radiology is kind of an AI story at this point, and it sounds like a biased thing to say on a podcast with somebody who has a leading AI company, but it's kind of true. Probably the actual answer to that is probably like 50-60% of the stories have something to do with AI.
And Jake, like as because and I'm asking these questions because a lot of what you say in your newsletter and all the other work you do does shape a lot of the opinion
Mhm.
of AI. Uh, I think like kudos to consistently doing that. But how do you decide what's important and what's not?
Huh. Okay. Well, so of course, Brian Casey writes the Image and Wire, the goat of radiology news. So he's doing all the deciding these days. But if I think about like as a company, what our editorial standards are, um, is it advancing the science? Is it important and interesting to the readers? Is it advancing kind of the business of AI, which of course is, in many ways just as important as the science of AI? And we apply those and we say like, okay, does this story meet those criteria? And if so, we'll get it in there. Um, Once in a while, there'll be a story that maybe doesn't fit those criteria, but we know it's interesting. It's kind of like the junk food story, and we'll cover that too because we're also in the entertainment business.
That's interesting. So,
Yeah.
and like in terms of your sphere of influence, like how much of that is US, how much is non-US? Are you seeing any trends there? You just like globally interest in AI, or does it remain very much focused on the US?
Well, probably about 92% of our audience is North America. But a lot of that is because that's how we market to our readers and market to our subscribers. So if we just kept everything organic, it would be a lot more broadly spread out across the world. And I mean, you're in the UK right now. They're doing some amazing things in AI. And I know they're doing amazing things in AI and across Europe and Israel and in Australia and India and you name it. So it's truly a global phenomenon, but I do find that say every AI startup that I talk to, their North Star is like making it into the US. And part of that is because like our healthcare system is so messed up, it's the best place to go to get rich. Um, and
Yes,
so
that I
even
think in these webinars we are always looking for like content that can be like super short, real kind of stuff. So thank you.
yeah, you got that.
Nice,
Yeah, so yeah, 92% North America.
nice. And do you, in terms of the AI applications that you cover and the AI platforms that you cover, can you talk to like some of the trends you may be seeing there in terms of like, it is also very transparent, like, there's on the newsletter, there are sponsors that you have. Like, are you seeing like one question that is constantly emerging is are point AI companies going to become larger or smaller, and are platforms going to remain platforms, or are they building their own AI? Like, do you have any opinion
Yeah.
on how the market, like the supply side market of AI, is going to pan out?
Good question. It's interesting. Like point solution has become almost like a dirty word. Like you'll hear one AI company when they're talking bad things about another AI company, like, oh, they're just a point solution. There's some good point solutions out there, but what I find is that, the more powerful and advanced AI companies are expanding. They're expanding to new modalities, new disease states. And I think if they are a point solution, and there's some really good point solutions out there, especially like in the areas of like mammography, for example, you can be a mammo AI company and just do mammo AI and be like perfectly okay. But for the point solution companies that are out there, they have to partner with a company like CARPL in order to um, get to the all the healthcare providers that they need to get to. And if you're a healthcare provider, you're probably not going to want to have to go through all the IT processes just to partner with that one point solution provider. Um, as far as like overall trends, you said in the like solution and platform space. So like one of the big platform trends I see is that the PACS companies, most of them have decided that it's way too hard to have their own AI platform, and they're partnering with companies like you. I don't blame them. I mean, it's hard enough to be a PACS company and do PACS installs. I can't imagine also just doing AI installs when it's not a core business. Um, so I see that as a big trend, and it feels like, at SIM a couple weeks ago and at RSNA about 6 months ago, those were all the big announcements. It was like the PACS companies announcing which AI platform they're aligning with. Uh, so I'm definitely seeing that. It's interesting to see some of the like previously specialized AI companies expanding. So like Gleamer's a great example of that, where they were mainly fracture detection before, and now they're expanding to new disease states, and then acquiring companies to add expertise in brand new modalities. And of course, we've seen that with like companies like Cure or ADOC or Viz AI. And I think that there's definitely a benefit to that.
I see. So that's interesting because it's like, almost like there's this daisy chain of, like customer, tax, platform, AI, and then within AI, it can be like, we partner with Gleamer, for example. So within Gleamer, there could be like sub companies that they've acquired and made. So almost like, I think, I obviously, study this process a lot, and there is this, a very interesting parallel is the whenever you swipe your credit card somewhere, let's say
Mhm.
you swipe for $10, like there is again a daisy chain of like there's the credit card machine company, and then there's the company that does the fraud detection, and then there's the company
Right,
that
right, right.
transfers the money to the from the bank to the bank, and then everybody takes like a small adds a small amount of value without which the whole system will collapse, right? But it
Right,
requires like varied level of expertise and varied levels of value for that entire transaction to happen in like half a second. So,
right.
uh, so it's at least that's how I've rationalized it. So,
Yeah, I think so too. It's interesting though, because I still have conversations where people are still kind of trying to put their finger on like what the financial model for AI is or should be. And it's a testament to like how much more AI has to evolve. Uh, it's okay if there's different financial models, but it shows how early we are, and early is not bad, but how early we are that like if you talk to five people, that they might have five different theories in terms of like how it should be built and who
yeah.
should be involved in that. And I had somebody tell me like 5 years ago that if AI was a baseball game, people would be like just showing up to the ballpark, like the game hasn't even started yet, and
Mm.
we're still really early in the game, right?
But then explain to me this almost dichotomy, right? Where at one end, uh, you say that you could add 100% of imaging wire covering AI,
Hmm.
and on the other side, uh, there is a question about how, why, when to pay for AI. So, is it just a phase thing, or what is it that? Why is it that this dichotomy exists, in your opinion?
Is a really good question. I mean, okay.
I know the wrong question to
So,
ask in a podcast that's supposed to be, in a webinar that's supposed to be promoting AI. But yeah, but I would love to hear your opinion.
well, I mean, AI is exciting. So whether it's early or not, it's still really exciting. And the science that's happening in there is really exciting. And I mean, to me, there's no question that it's going to be like the center of radiology forever. And even if the adoption is slow and um, uneven, uh, it's the center of radiology. So this research that's happening, it's still like really fundamentally important research for the direction of radiology. Whether it, I would say if you didn't know about radiology and you read an imaging wire, you would say like, oh, 60% of all revenue in radiology is driven by AI. And like that's obviously not true. Um, but it's there's so many important breakthroughs happening in AI. And I would say like there's
No,
cool
I
things
think I
happening
think
with modalities.
I'll help you out, Jake. I think the thing is 60% of the future of radiology is AI, right? Maybe
Yeah,
that's the way to think of it. And it's just that there is so much democratization and thereby so many studies, like every body part modality disease combination is like one area of study in AI, right?
right.
So maybe that's where it comes from. But then that gets me to another question, and you know, I think of the imaging wire as a it's a form for information dissemination, right?
Yeah.
So if I am a new AI startup, right, and I generally like whether imaging wire is part of your answer or not is up to you. But if I am a new AI startup, like three people team, and I want the the world to know I exist, what is the cheapest, most effective way I could do that, given all your, everything you've
Yeah.
seen?
Um, how much money do you have as this hypothetical AI
So
startup?
I have like let's say $1,000 for the full year.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say if you had like a ton of money, what I would recommend is doing an actual AI randomized controlled trial. Like give the world what they've been asking for forever and
Uh,
show them without a shadow of a doubt that like AI works in impacts care. And it's not just like a sensitivity specificity trial, which like we'll still cover in the image wire, but the world's seen like a billion of them at this point. We see some cool ones happening in like cardiology, like Clearly's 1 year into a RCT to show that basically the Clearly scans can guide treatment and stuff like statin prescriptions and then therefore reduce heart attacks. If you can start showing like real impact on long-term outcomes, which is hard to do. Like, lung cancer screening has had a hard time doing that, right? Or breast cancer screening. But if you can do that, that I think is how you really get people talking about what you're doing. I know I just suggested something that's like a little bit above and beyond what you had in mind. But if we're talking about like getting people talking about you, that's one way. The other way is just do a webinar every Thursday morning for a whole year.
Trust me, Jake, that does not get us to everyone. That just gets us to people who like us, which is fine, which is why we do it.
It gets you doing a webinar from a coffee shop in London on a Thursday afternoon.
I agree, which is fun.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of questions in, Jake. One is from my colleague Sarthi. Sarthi asks, how responsible, oh my God, how responsible do you feel for shaping the perception about AI? Critique versus fear, coverage versus hype. What role does journalism play in an industry that's still shaping itself?
Oh, it's a good question.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to us to be objective. And, I said earlier, like we're in the entertainment business, and it's tricky because like we're not competing against Aunt Minnie and radiology business. We're competing against like people doing their actually work and like people just checking out TikTok and people like hanging out with their families. Like we're competing for attention. So we do have to make sure that the newsletters are entertaining, but we also have to make sure that people trust us and that we're guiding people in the right direction. So we have to understand the science and properly know like what is a good AUC, even if somebody says it's good and it might not be. And we're not physicians, we're not scientists. We're kind of, except for one person on our team, who pretty much is a scientist. But so we're figuring these things out and we have to be really careful about how we present things. We try not to be overly sensational, and find that right balance between capturing people's attention, making sure that they respect us as a publication and that we respect them as readers, and that they're a little bit smarter for reading the image wire, cardiac wire, or digital health wire.
Super interesting. And in line with that, there's a question from BS. They ask, as an information media company in healthcare, have you ever been infected by the fake news phenomena and had to retract what you have published? That's very interesting. Have you ever retracted
Huh.
anything?
I don't think so. We've gotten people who have maybe been upset with us. We've recently had one client who was upset with us because we covered a competitor. But um, but I would say that um, mm, maybe we've gotten
I
things
think
wrong.
that reflects on the client, not you. But yeah, so I don't know
Yeah,
who
we'll
I'm
change,
pissing off, but
we'll move this conversation along. Um, the we've probably like gotten things wrong in the past and had to change things. But we've never, I don't think, fallen prey to, what one might view as fake news.
do you use AI to like do background research and like I don't know like sharpen up the stories and like stuff like how does the imaging wire use AI?
That's a good question. Not as much as many people might expect. We've a lot of times when you're writing, you learn by writing. Like you learn what you're saying as you say it. So you don't really know how to direct the AI until you've kind of fully digested the story. However, we're looking at ways to be better at using AI. I think like telling people that you refuse to use AI is like saying like is refusing to use the internet in 1995. Like it's crazy. You have to do it. So we actually have in about 2 weeks, we have what we're gonna basically have a AI innovation day. We're going to clear out our schedules and everybody's just going to mess around with AI for a whole half a day and try to figure out workflows that basically improve what we do, either efficiency or just improve the quality. And then we're going to do like a demo at the end of the day and everybody's going to show what they invented with the idea that we're all going to get better and make it a more fundamental thing of what we do. Because right now we all use it, but in different ways and in siloed ways. And what I want to do is just make sure that it's like part of our culture, not from a like, we still want to have the human touch and humans are still going to write everything, but like, it's crazy to think that there's not ways that AI can improve the efficiency of any business, right?
In fact, Jake, it's very interesting. I don't know if you know, but there is this community slash media outlet called SaaStr, SAASTR, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah. That guy's
for
awesome.
SaaS
Jason
businesses.
Lemkin.
Jason Lemkin, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
They have incorporated like a AI bot on their website, and you can ask that bot questions, and it goes through all the content SaaStr has ever published and gives you answers from that. I wonder if
Cool.
you guys should start doing that, right? Like, it would be incredible to be able to query the entire imaging wire database, all the videos that Brian makes, all of that in one go, and you get an answer. But more offline. Let's get to the questions because we're hitting time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Great idea. Thank you.
I don't know. But yeah, this one's from Manushree. Again, one of my closest colleagues. Um, she asks, I assume on behalf of her team, I want to ask if you are new to this field or you are a new hire in an AI company. Which conferences should one attend to network and learn about AI and radiology?
Huh. Okay. So I mean the starting points I think are RSNA, which is like an awesome conference but brutal, and then Sim, which is awesome conference but really easy. Um, and the for radiology AI, I would say that those are the starting points. Um, then there's, probably other ones that you could go to. I mean, Yukio, where you are right now, I think is probably a good one to go to. Depends on where you are and what your budget has, but I think those are the starting points.
Nice. There is no dedicated US based radiology AI conference as yet, right?
No, there's
Maybe,
that AI.
the AI in medicine one, AI Med, yeah.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be all of AI. Um,
Yeah.
you know, maybe Imagine
Interesting.
Wire
Yeah.
could create one.
Yeah, just one day before RSNA or one day after RSNA. I don't know. There's so many
Maybe not
ideas
one day
coming.
after.
Correct. I agree. Yes. So Yeah, next question is from Shruti, lead marketing at CARPL, you know her well. My
Yeah,
question is, how do you decide what makes it to the imaging wire? What's the editorial filter? You covered it a
right.
little bit, but maybe a little bit more in detail.
Yeah. So usually what we do is we'll search everywhere. We'll search all the different websites, all the different journals. We'll take a look at social because sometimes really cool stories pop up on social that we didn't find through our normal channels. And then you just pick your favorite 12. So we might pick 150 and lay them all out in a Google Doc. And then you have to say like, okay, which ones are most important? How do we make sure that this newsletter is diverse and it's not all about, you know, MRI or not all about mammography or something like that?
Interesting. So that also means that there are 138 that don't make it, right?
Yeah,
Which is so interesting, and there might be like lots of information there that is useful to folks. Maybe not working on the so-called front page, but interesting.
yeah.
Last
But people
question,
are,
and yeah, sorry, go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say people are so busy that like we're helping them by finding these top 12 and just allow them to, you know, go practice radiology with the rest of their time.
Correct. That you are the curators of what they see.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So, wow, many questions coming in. There's one from AA. They asked any suggestions for an underrated AI company that hasn't
Right.
blown up yet, some hidden gem.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not a radiologist. I'm like, I used to be professional at pretending to know about radiology, but not even totally understanding it. Show me like a PET scan, and I'll be like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. But I'm pretty good at like paying attention to how people react. And it's been really neat to see people observe at SIM, to see people observe the RAD pair solution, which I think solves a real big problem, the reporting. And it taps into like obviously really strong technology, which is generative AI. And I saw some people who I really respect in the world of radiology see that product and like just wholeheartedly agree that this is a product that's going to have a major impact. So I think that's one. I don't know if that's considered a hidden gem, but I know people weren't talking about them a lot like a year or two ago. I'll
Yeah, I
leave it at
think
that. But there's
build something that blows people's minds away. I guess it's the benchmark.
right, yeah. Um, yeah. I would say Carpal, but everybody knows about them. So they're like a known gem.
Yeah, of course. On that happy note, Jake, we try to end on time. But on that happy note, thank you so much to everyone for joining. I know we didn't answer a couple of questions. We'll get back to you offline. But
Yep.
thank you so much, Jake. This means the world. And thank you so much for everyone who joined. And we'll see you same time next week. Perfect.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
See you,
Vidor.
Jake.
Good seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, man. Take care.